G'day boys. So this week and certainly over the next coming weeks we're going to be working a lot with angles and measuring angles. So hopefully I'm going to give you a bit of a rundown of how to measure some angles. Okay. Now the first thing that we've certainly spoken about are the three types of angles. Okay. So we've got, if we have a look at it, we've got an acute angle, okay, which is between 0 and 89 degrees, okay, an obtuse, which is between 91 degrees and 180 degrees, and a reflex, okay, which is when we are larger than 180 but less than 360, okay, so it's always measuring that outside. Alright, so we know that. Okay, so let's have a look. Let's practice measuring some angles. Let's look at this one over here first, okay? Let's have a look at this one. Now, we should be able to identify by looking at this angle that it's an acute angle, okay? So we're looking at numbers that are between 0 and 90 degrees because it's less than 90. Remember, a right angle is 90 degrees, okay? So, the way we do this, now this is on a bit of a trick, okay? We use our protractor, remembering that this middle section right here, okay, right there, is what needs to be placed on the corner. That's the first thing. So this middle section right there needs to be placed on the corner. Then, once that's placed on the corner, make sure that your bottom line lines up with the bottom of the angle, okay? So see how it's in line now? Okay, perfect. Now, all we need to do is follow where this angle matches up to and what number it goes between. Now, if we have a look at this particular angle, this line goes right between 50 and 130 degrees. Now, we should know, just like we said over here to the start, okay, an acute angle is between 0 and 89 degrees. So we should be able to identify that this angle we're working with is using our numbers between 0 and 90. So this angle in particular would be 50 degrees. So if we say, what is the angle of A, B and C? Well, that answer is 50 degrees. And see how I've lined it up? Okay, you've got to remember, you've got to make sure you line that actual angle up. Make sure that middle point is on the corner, the bottom line is in line with that, and then you just work out what the top section equals. Cool. Okay, let's do our second one. So our second angle over here is DEF. So if we've got D here, E there, F there, we're measuring what that angle is in between those three letters, which is that section there. Now, if we have a look at this straight away we should be able to identify as an obtuse angle. So this particular angle should be larger than 90 degrees, okay? Because 90 degrees would be straight up here. Okay, that would be 90 degrees, straight like that. But it's not, it's bigger than that, see? Okay, so again, we get our protractor, and we look at where that point is, okay, right in the middle there, which is the matching up between that section. We put that on that corner, okay, just like so. Now, our bottom line is in line with the bottom section, okay, so we can see that all belongs along there. Now we just need to follow this line up. Now we said before that an obtuse angle is bigger than 90 degrees. So that means, so if that bottom section's lined up, okay, it's lined up there and we know that this is bigger than 90 degrees. So we've got to use our numbers on the outside this time. Okay, we're not worrying about the inside numbers because it's larger than 90. So let's follow it through. This line goes halfway between 130 and 140. Okay, can you see that? Halfway between 130 and 140. So if it's halfway between that, we would roughly say that would be 135 degrees. Okay, so remembering that an obtuse angle is bigger than that. Okay, cool. So that's our first two angles, an acute and a reflex. Our last angle that we're going to measure today, okay, acute, and obtuse. The last one we're measuring today is a reflex angle, and that's the outside of a shape. Okay, and this is a little bit trickier. So we don't have a protractor that can measure right around the outside of a shape. You can't do that. It's impossible. So what you need to do is work out what the inside angle is first. Okay, so let's work out what that equals. So let's line our protractor up. Remember, the point goes on the corner. Our bottom line lines up with that, okay, and we measure that. So it's an acute angle, so that means we're using the numbers between 0 and 90. Okay, so let's follow it through. Okay, so it's about 56 degrees. 56 degrees. If we look at it, okay, that inside angle is 56 degrees. Okay, that's what that is. Now, when we're looking at a reflex angle, we know that a full circle, okay, equals 360 degrees. If we know this middle section is 56, we must do a takeaway sum to work out what the outside of this angle is. So, if we do 360 degrees, take away 56 degrees, okay, that leaves us with 304 degrees. So that means that our reflex angle that goes on the outside is 304 degrees. That's the easiest way to work out a reflex angle, boys, okay, is you measure what's on the inside, take it away from 360, okay, and you get your answer of what's the outside's left. So say if we do another one, say if I'll give you, okay, an angle like this, we've got to measure what's the outside. Again, we line up our middle section with our line, okay, just like so. Now, we should be able to see that this is an obtuse angle, okay? This part here is an obtuse, so we're using our numbers bigger than 90. So line it up. Follow that line, okay, it runs through, it's bigger than 90, so that means we're using the outside numbers, okay, so let's say that's 120 degrees on the inside there. Now if we do our takeaway sum again, 360, take away 120, okay, leaves us with 240. So this angle here is 240 degrees. Hopefully that's given you some idea of how to measure some angles, okay? One more thing before we move on, okay? If we get given a parallelogram, okay, if we get given a parallelogram in our test, okay, just like I spoke about last week, all right, what you need to know about a parallelogram is obviously two sets of lines that run parallel with each other. So they're opposite, they're opposite. Now with a parallelogram, okay, this angle here is exactly the same as this angle here. These two, exactly the same. Same with these ones. This angle here is the same with that one there. Also, a parallelogram, all four angles, okay, so this side, this angle, and this angle, all equal 360 degrees. So if we were to measure this, okay, let's measure it. Okay, let's say that one's 45. So if that one's 45, this one should be 45 degrees. Okay, perfect. Now if we measure this one here, it's an obtuse. Okay, that one's 130 degrees, so that means this one is 130 degrees. So if we add all this up together, 130 plus, this is 50. This angle correctly, okay, that was 50 degrees. I didn't measure it properly, I apologise, boys. So that's 50, that's 50. Let's add all these together. 10, 6, carry the 1. So there you go. All four angles equal 360 degrees. Just something to keep in mind when you're looking at parallelograms, okay? Hopefully that's helped you a little bit more.